Hello everyone, my name is Rachel. Welcome back to my channel. Today I'm bringing you my August TBR. I can't believe that it is already the end of September, but here we are. It is fall, but not really because it is hot AF outside. But I am really excited about this TBR this month because I chose a lot of like darker and creepier books, and I'm also noticing that I am still in a very much YA fantasy mood, which I'm so here for, honestly. Yeah, I'm just excited about all these books. So let's just get into the stack that I have next to me. The first book I really want to get to this month is The Devouring Grey. This is by Christine Lynn Herman. This is the UK cover and it has pink sprayed edges. I remember that the author herself went onto Twitter and talked about a promotion. Basically, if you pre-ordered the book on Book Depository, you could get this really cool edition, and the spine is also hot pink. I personally like this cover more than the US cover, but that's just my opinion. So this is a book that definitely has Stranger Things vibes. Essentially, there's this girl named Violet who moves to this small town and she doesn't know anybody, obviously, and there's this mystery involving these really creepy woods that I guess are on the outskirts of the town, and I think bodies start turning up, so it's kind of like a murder mystery, but I've just heard some pretty good things about it, and I'm looking forward to listening to the audiobook for this. I definitely wanted to pick some like darker and creepier audiobooks to listen to this month, so I'm definitely really looking forward to this one. Next book I am really excited to get to is Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban by J.K. Rowling. For those of you that are new to my channel, first of all, welcome, and second of all, I have been doing a reading vlog series all about rereading this series for the very first time, actually. I've only read these books once, and it was years ago. These beautiful covers are the newer Bloomsbury UK editions. This cover is actually my favorite of these Bloomsbury editions. I just love the blue and this beautiful Patronus and like the Dementors and everything about it. It's just stunning. I remember when I did read the books that this one was my favorite, but I'm sure my opinion will change with this reread. But yeah, I'm just so excited to read this and film another reading vlog for it. The next book I want to get to this month is The Diviners by Libba Bray. I am actually really stoked to finally start this series this month. This is a series that is definitely well loved by the booktube community, and from what I understand, for very good reason. It's a very unique story about this girl named Evie who ends up moving to New York in 1926 to live with her uncle who has this weird obsession with the occult. And it definitely has to deal with paranormal things such as ghosts, and I've heard that it's very creepy and that the audiobook is definitely the way to go. So I will definitely be listening to the audiobook for this, and I'm just so excited to read this in October because of course it is Halloween and this seems to be a dark and creepy YA story. I'm also really excited to get to this because this is a YA story that takes place in the 1920s, and I've never read a story like that before. So I have a feeling that this is going to be a really cool and unique reading experience. The next two books that I want to read this month are the last two books in the Vampire Academy series by Rochelle Mead, and that is Spiritbound, which is the 5th book, and then Last Sacrifice, which is the 6th book. I have been reading 2 books from this series a month since August, and I have really been enjoying it. To be quite honest, I really didn't expect much from this series going into it, but with each book, Rochelle Mead just steps it up with the stakes as well as the quality of the story. I also just really enjoy all of the characters in this, and I'm just so excited to see where we go from the end of the 4th book, which was Blood Promise, which I read in September. That book ended on a really cool and interesting note, so I'm very interested to see where the series goes from there. The next book I plan to get to this month is One Dark Throne by Kendara Blake. This is book 2 in the 3 Dark Crowns series. I read the 1st book in September, and I already talked about that in my mid-month wrap-up. So if you want to know my in-depth thoughts about that 1st book, definitely go check out that video. But essentially I enjoyed it. I didn't love it. I thought that overall it was kind of slow in the pacing the entire time, but I've heard that this installment really picks things up in the series, so I'm just really excited to get back into this world. I really loved all of the characters as well as the eerie atmosphere of the island of Fenburn, and I've talked about what the series is about so many times, and also this series is pretty well loved by the booktube community. But it is about 3 triplets who are queens of Fenburn, and when they reach the age of 16, they essentially have to fight each other to the death for the actual throne of Fenburn. And this is just a really cool, dark, and intense fantasy series that I can't wait to get back into this month. Next is a book that I actually added onto my TBR very last minute because for some reason I don't tend to read books that I buy right away. I tend to read more backlist titles that I've had on my shelves for some months, but this book book has just been so hyped and I'm so excited to read it, and I thought it would be really perfect for October, and that is Serpent and Dove. This is a new YA fantasy series about this girl who is a witch and this guy who is a witch hunter, and they for some reason have to get married to each other, so it's a marriage of convenience story, and I've just heard so many phenomenal things about it, and because it has to do with witches, obviously it is perfect for the month of October. So yeah, I cannot wait to get into this month. And next on my TBR for October is Tower of Dawn by Sarah J. Maas. This is the 6th installment in the Throne of Glass series. For those of you who may not know, I have been doing a reading vlog series about this series as well, about my experience reading it for the very first time, and I've been absolutely obsessed with pretty much all of the books in this series. Empire of Storms really just like upped the ante in the story, and the ending was just like amazing and crazy and heartbreaking, and I just can't wait to see where the story goes from here. But this installment does follow completely different characters from Empire of Storms, so unfortunately I won't be able to see the outcome of the events from Empire of Storms until I get to Kingdom of Ash. But nonetheless, I am still excited about this. This story features Kale and Nesrin and how they have to travel to the southern continents. I've heard pretty good things about this installment, and I hope that this book captivates me just as much as the other installments of this series have. And then it's gonna be crazy because once I finish this book, I will only be one book away from finishing this series, which has been a kind of year-long project of mine. I started with the Assassin's Blade back in January, and I will be finishing Kingdom of Ash in November. So it has been a very long but really incredible reading experience with this series. It is definitely becoming one of my all-time favorites. I love Sarah J. Maas so much. I know some people like to hate on her, but I love this story so much and I love her writing. Okay, so the last book on my October TBR is a series that I have wanted to read for quite a while because it is by one of my favorite authors of all time, and that is Renegades by Marissa Meyer. So this series is all about renegades, obviously, and those are essentially the superheroes of, I think, this dystopian slash sci-fi world. So our story follows Nova, who actually has quite the bone to pick with the renegades, and she meets this renegades boy named Adrian, and it's about their relationship as well as the society that they live in. And I'm just so pumped to finally get into this series because Supernova, which is the final book, is coming out next month. So I definitely want to read this book and Arch Enemies as soon as possible so I can get to that final book. I have loved Marissa Meyer's works for quite some time. I read the entire Lunar Chronicles last year, and I also read Heartless and loved both of those so much. And given that this is a book all about superheroes, that immediately drew me in. So yeah, I'm just super duper pumped to finally read this month. All right, everyone, that is it for the books that are on my priority TBR for October. I am considering reading a couple of thrillers this month as well because October is the perfect month for that, but I haven't picked specific ones yet. If you guys have any really great spooky thriller recommendations, definitely leave them in the comments below. I've been really into reading YA fantasy for the past few months, as well as just reading YA contemporaries or just like contemporary romance novels. I definitely want to get back into reading thrillers though, because I absolutely adore that moment when the plot twist hits you and it just like completely shocks you and blows you away. I definitely want to read more books like that, especially in October. But that is going to be it for my October TBR video. I hope you guys enjoyed, and I hope you would consider subscribing. Don't forget to push that notification bell button below so that you will be notified every time I upload, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye!